Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of What's on My Desk. And today I am giving away a Rolex. That's right, I'm giving away a Rolex. So let's talk about giveaways for a second. It is a norm on social media platforms, specifically Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whichever social media platform one decides to use to do giveaways. And most of these giveaways are done in order to gain more following, more traction, and more engagement on your social media platforms. By me simply going on to Instagram today and saying, hey, I'm going to give this Rolex away, and all you have to do is subscribe, tag 10 friends, and blah, 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 and then I'll randomly pick a person. My subscriber base will probably go from 40,000 to 50,000 almost overnight because everybody wants a free Rolex, obviously. But that's not what this giveaway is actually about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys a little story to sort of come back and explain why I'm giving this Rolex away and to whom. Again, I know it kind of seems like clickbait. That's what that's normally called on social media when you put a title of a video that says Rolex giveaway. But hopefully once you hear the rest of the story, you'll understand why I did what I did. And I'm fairly certain you guys will be behind the reason of why I gave this Rolex away or giving this Rolex away. My secretary called me a couple of weeks ago and she goes, there's a gentleman on the phone by the name of JJ that is one of your YouTube followers, and he wanted to speak with you about buying a watch. And JJ said, listen, Roman, I'm looking for a stainless steel Rolex Explorer. What do you think about the watch and in terms of value, in terms of everything else? It was this very watch that JJ was talking about, a stainless steel Rolex Explorer white dial and with the unmistakable white hand. I briefly talked to him about the watch. I explained to him how I feel about the watch. And again, this episode is not about getting into the nuts and bolts of a Rolex Explorer, as you see here. He's like, I know you were in the military. You mentioned in one of your episodes. He's like, I'm also a 19 Delta. And for those guys that don't know what a 19 Delta is, 19 Delta is a Cavalry Scout in the U.S. Army. It was my MOS, or Army job in plainest terms. And what a Cavalry Scout does, it's actually a fairly dangerous job. You're a forward observer. You get out there into enemy territory, you scout routes, you scout areas, you scout everything and anything in order for the Army then to come through and go into battle or go into any sort of missions out there. I'm not going to get into much more details. You can actually go to goarmy.com, look up the job 19 Delta, and I'll link it below. And it gives you a good idea of what a 19 Delta does in the military. But it is a dangerous position. I myself, luckily, in the time that I was in, did not see any combat time. I was there during a peaceful time. So this particular gentleman is a bit different. He's been in the military going on 15 years now. He's been in multiple tours overseas. And I'm not going to get into rewording what he told me, but I am going to read an email that I asked him to send me, and just to quickly tell me about his story. So as I was discussing things with him, I told him to go the pre-owned route in order to save some money, because he said his budget is not that huge. The military salary, I will tell you guys firsthand, is not the biggest salary in the world. But he's really passionate about watches, and that was the watch he decided on, and I praised him on it. I said, yeah, it's a great watch to go with. I told him I'll go out there, I'll see what I can find the best deal. And I also told him, look, I'm going to find it, whatever my cost is, I'm going to get it down as cheap as I can, and I'm going to pass that cost on to you. I don't want to make money on you. I'm just going to sell you that watch at a cost that it comes through. Then I sat back and I thought about it, and I said, you know what? I don't think I'm going to charge this guy at all. I got a really good vibe from him on the phone. I didn't see him in person. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know how old is he. I didn't know anything about this guy, but for some odd reason, I felt really good energy about this guy. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to give him the watch. So I reached out to him and I said, listen, Jay, I thought about it and I don't really want to charge you anything. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to buy you one brand new, put your name on the card, and I'm just going to send you this watch. So after that, that's when I asked him, I said, send me a short story to share with my audience about who you are and why it is I decided to actually give you this Rolex. And what he sent blew me away, I'll be honest. And I'm going to go ahead and read you this email so you guys can see. Hey, Roman, here's my story. If it's a bit too graphic or long, let me know. First and foremost, I'd like to establish that I am no hero. Heroes are the brave souls that are resting in National Cemetery around the world. Heroes are the ones that gave everything they had, including their life, in support of a cause, an idea bigger than themselves. In the beginning portion of 2005, I made a tenacious decision to submit myself to service. I joined the Army not fully understanding exactly what I was getting into. Same. My ideas of grandeur being a paratrooper in a distant land to help those that are oppressed are profound in my mind. After completing my initial training, I was stationed at Fort Hood, Texas, home of the Cavalry Scouts. Shortly thereafter, I deployed overseas to Iraq for my first experience of being in a place that I would not call my home. Contrary to my previous belief, the experiences, the turmoil was enlightening to me, expanding my horizons and understanding as how the world works. I had an opportunity to meet and work with some amazing people and learn an abundance of culture. Throughout my time in the military, this would be an important skill set as I deployed several more times to various locations, totaling over 7 combat tours. One specific tour to Afghanistan, we were tasked with working with the local Afghan police and training them, enhancing their capabilities. We were in a very remote location and they started as all other days do, regimented and calculated. After meeting with a tribal leader of how we can effectively mentor, enhance, and develop this village, we returned back to our compound via our convoy. Driving numerous miles in a heavy armored truck is mind-drowning at a minimum. So you try to break up the time by gaining an understanding of your teammates and talking about ideas that we're going to do once we get back home. While we were talking about how we were going to be rock stars once we leave Afghanistan back to the States, we noticed the town that we passed through that was typically populated with people was completely abandoned. This is a very bad sign. Going back to learning culture, I learned that at midday is when everyone is out at markets, drinking chai, the local tea, and conversing with each other. However, none of this was happening at this time. Odd, we told ourselves, but kept driving along. About 45 seconds, our truck exploded with a thunderous boom. Disoriented by the blast, our team realized we hit an improvised exploding device, IDE, and our truck was disabled and on fire. As we exited our truck, we came under heavy gunfire. The following trucks in our convoy tried to provide cover for our team from the gunfire, but was struck with an RPG, a rocket-propelled grenade. The sharp-milled pieces of hot metal splintered and hit me in my stomach, somehow going to underneath my body armor, cutting me open and knocking me out. Laying on my back, feeling my life draining from my body, sorry. I remember feeling and hearing the fearful sound of another explosive and I blacked out. Vaguely, I remember coming to a conscious and our medic treated me in a Black Hawk helicopter. Finally waking up in the main hospital in Afghanistan, the doctor informed me of what happened. I had suffered loss of blood and part of my small intestines had to be removed due to exposure. I paralyzed the left side of my body for 3 days, had bleeding in my brain, and my brain was swollen to a point, and if it did not stop, the doctors would have to drill into my skull to relieve the pressure on my brain. Needless to say, I was messed up pretty bad, but very, very lucky. The second wave of questions arose, wondering what happened to the rest of my guys. I was informed that 2 of the members in my truck were killed in the second IED blast. Grief-stricken, I began to think of the faces of my friends that I would never see. I remembered one of my friends saying, and that stuck with me, live life like a rock star knowing that we are on this planet for a brief moment in time. I had to honor their memory and never quit, never give up hope of who I am and the life that I can live. Through lots of pains and tears and prayers, I was able to recover to the point to make it to the next deployment 1 year later. It was not easy to go back. I could not let that be the last chapter in my overseas time. In total, I deployed 3 more times, bring us up to current date. I now will finish my last deployment, but I wanted to a reminder of the limited time we have in life and to do the most good. This is where I grew an affinity for watches. A watch is a prominent staple of class and respect. It shows others that you respect your time and theirs. A watch is more than just a brand label. It's a mark of character, an expression of who you are and your aspirations. An acknowledgement to the past while respecting our history in hopes to shape the future. Serving as a reminder of what the most precious things in life, the one that you can never get back, and that is time. This is why horology speaks to me, and it's why it's so important in my life. So no matter what we do or where we go, remember, use your time wisely, because once it's gone, you can never get it back. So I read this email a few times over, obviously, before I turned on the camera, and I got emotional every time. And I was hoping not to get that emotional on camera, but honestly, I don't care, because if this doesn't bring emotions to you guys, my audience, or tears to you guys, then I don't know what else to say. First of all, in response to his email, Jay, you are a hero in my eyes, as far as I'm concerned. I read this email over and over. I even spoke to my Rolex dealer. I shared it with him, and I said, you know, this is the guy that I'm giving this watch to. And I really wanted to engrave something special in the back of this watch. And I thought long and hard about it. And what I came up with is a saying that I hope sticks with you, because it's relevant to who you are in my eyes as a hero, and I'm sure in the eyes of everyone else. I wrote on the back of this watch that a hero deserves infinite time. And much like those heroes that are buried in the National Cemetery, their memory of them is infinite. And because of your life, of your love for time and horology overall, and the fact that undoubtedly in my eyes you are a hero, I do believe you deserve this timepiece and then some. I think this is just a small token of appreciation from a fellow veteran like myself. But remember this, time is infinite, memories are infinite. And for all those friends that you have lost that are now in a cemetery 6 feet under, their memory of them with you is infinite. For as long as you're walking on this earth, you will remember your friends, and their loved ones will remember them the same. So, again, a hero deserves infinite time. And this is what I meant by that when I engraved this back of this watch. I know that by the time this airs, you're actually going to be off to your deployment. I'm shipping this watch for you today for Saturday delivery, because I know you're leaving on your last deployment on Monday. I wanted to say that I just wanted to say to enjoy this watch. Let it be a reminder for you that you are a hero in many people's eyes, myself included, obviously. And the very first thing I want to wish you is a very, very safe return. And once you do return safely, I hope that I can actually meet you in person sometime. Hopefully you can fly out to my office, or I will be in your neck of the woods, as they say, and we can sit down, grab a beer, and you know, you can tell me some more of these Army stories. But for now, I just wanted to tell you, enjoy the watch, and as you said, use your time wisely. And again, a very, very safe return back home, and best of luck, Jay.
All right, so I took the liberty of taking it out of the box because, well, it's got my address and everything on there. And I had a Wolverine moment and tore into it. Oh my goodness. Look at the crown. Look at the crown. Oh, of course, the warranty card. Owner's manual. Oh boy! All that goodness in one place. Oh, here we go. Oh my goodness! Oh man, look at that. Amazing. Bro, I can't begin to express the appreciation. Thank you so much. I will cherish this. You, sir, are awesome.